Everyone has that special stuffed animal that's gotten a little beat up over the years, but with a little TLC, you can make your stuffed animals look as good as new. There are a few rules that you have to follow in order to make sure that you're not making the problem worse. I've spoken with stuffed animal repair professionals across the country in order to figure out the best way to do it for my new friend Molly, which I picked up from the thrift store earlier this week. As you can see, Molly is a little dirty. She had a sort of shoddy arm repair. She's got another little hole on her other arm. But we're gonna make her look really pretty. So the first step is going to be to unstuff the stuffed animal. Most of the seamstresses I spoke to said that there is generally a seam on every stuffed animal that's just a little bit looser and easier to take apart because that's where it was closed up previously. And for most stuffed animals, that's going to be on the back. And that looks like it's the case with Molly as well. So Molly is completely unstuffed. She looks great. And now we are going to wash her. You basically just want to wash the stuffed animal until the water you're rinsing it in comes out clean. And you don't have to use any special hand soaps or anything like that. I'm just going to use Dawn. Some people use liquid detergent, but that feels like it's probably a little hard on my hands. But you do want something that cuts through the grease that the stuffed animal has accumulated in its fur over years of being handled. So we just finished giving Molly her bath. We washed her about 3 times until the water ran clear, and then rinsed her again to make sure all of the soap suds were out. She already looks like she's getting some nice color back, which is really encouraging. And we had to wash her little arm separately. And now we're going to have to hang her to dry, and we'll see how long that takes. So it's winter and I'm not trying to have a frozen piggy carcass on my patio, so I have to find a spot to line dry Molly in my house. And I think I'm going to tie this between 2 knobs on my pantry doors and just hang her there. The reason that I have this disturbing setup in my kitchen is that you really don't want to put these stuffed animals in the dryer. Across the board, all of the professionals I spoke to said that that's the easiest way to ruin your stuffed animal permanently and irreparably. It'll melt the thread, it'll melt their faces off. I had one seamstress tell me that she had a stuffed animal explode on her in the dryer. You just don't want to do it. All right, so here we are 24 hours later, and Miss Molly is nice and dry. So we are going to put her bean bags back in her, restuff her, and sew her up. Before I restuff Molly, I'm going to give her a little bit of a brush. The seamstresses I spoke to who do this professionally said that they get special tools for brushing stuffed animals online. I have an eyebrow brush that I think will work well, especially given that she's a beanie baby and she doesn't really have very long fur to begin with. So we're gonna give her a good brush. She seems to have been weighted at the bottom of her hands and feet and then in her belly. So I'm going to put the beanbag into the dismembered arm before I stuff it again. Here we go. And then I'm going to sew it back on her. So I'm going to be using a ladder stitch to patch up Molly's open bits. It's a pretty simple stitch. You can look it up online and seamstresses will explain it to you better than I can. But basically you are going to pull the thread through one side of the fabric to the other side, make a stitch, pull it through, make a stitch, pull it through, make a stitch, and then that'll close up the hole in a way that's invisible. So Molly is looking very pretty now that we've given her a bath and restuffed her and sewed her all up. It was a little more challenging than I expected it to be, especially reattaching her arm. I didn't exactly do an award-winning job, but it's passable. It's definitely doable though if you have some hand sewing skills and the will to get it done. So if your kid is just obsessed with their stuffed animal and you need to fix it up real quick, don't be afraid to do so. But for big projects, I would definitely leave it to the professionals.